Good morning, myself Dr. Mahantha. Uh, we have completed the topic reproduction. From today onwards, we are going to start the special senses. So, we have different special senses in our body: sense of vision, sense of hearing, sense of smell, sense of taste. So, today I am going to talk about the sense of taste. The sense of taste, that means how this sense taste sensation is carried into the in this topic you should learn how the taste sensation is carried to the central nervous system, what is the pathway, what are all the different tastes, and what are all the abnormalities of the sense of taste. So these things you should know. So the sense of taste is called gustation. Okay, it's a chemical sense that is stimulated by the food and drink. So this sense of taste is called gustation. This taste sensation must be distinguished from the flavor, okay, which includes the olfactory, that means sense of smell, and tactile and thermal attributes of food in addition to the taste. It should be distinguished from the flavor. It also contributes, the taste also contributes considerably to the quality of life and is important stimulant for digestion. So the sight of taste, so how the taste is sensed. So the taste stimuli are detected by specialized chemoreceptors called taste receptors or taste cells. So these receptors are clustered in the taste buds located on the tongue, dorsum of the tongue, pharynx, epiglottis, and also in upper third of the esophagus. So these are the chemoreceptors. So the tongue, okay, these are the chemoreceptors which are present in the tongue, palate, pharynx, epiglottis, and then upper third of the esophagus. So the tongue being the main site of the taste detection, it contains so many taste buds in the dorsum of the tongue. So the mucous membrane of the dorsal surface of the tongue exhibits numerous papillae. Okay, so that what will happen, the surface area of the mucosa available for the taste receptors increases. So these taste buds are located in this walls of the papillae. The dorsum of the tongue will be having the mucosa of membrane of this dorsum of the tongue will be having so many papillae. So this papillae, what it will increases the surface area of the surface area of the mucosa available for the taste receptors. These taste buds are located in the walls of the papilla. Numerous and so many papillae will be present. So first we'll see the taste bud. Okay, so how this taste bud, what is the structure of this taste bud? So in this diagram you can see this is the typical structure of a taste bud. So in this diagram we can see the taste bud. This taste bud is a barrel shaped structure. So just have a look of this diagram. There are so many cluster of cell with a small opening that is called the taste pore in the surface that allows substances to reach the interior of the taste bud. So each taste bud measures about 50 to 70 micrometers in diameter and consists of the following cells. Consists of these cells. Okay, that is, it's having a receptor cell and it's having a basal replacement cells and then supporting cells. You can see in the diagram gustatory receptor cell and then the basal cell and then the supporting cell. Each taste bud has about 100 receptor cells. You can see the diagram gustatory receptor cells. So each taste bud has 100 receptor cells. The receptor cells are elongate, bipolar shaped and extend from the epithelial opening of the taste bud to its base. The taste cells have a short life, okay, of about 10 days, and then it will be replaced by the differentiating from the basal cells. That is a function of basal cell. So the gustatory receptor cells have a life of about 10 days and then it will be replaced by the basal cells which are present near the gustatory receptor cells. The taste cells, at in the end we can see it is innervated by the sensory neurons at its basal pole. Although taste cells are non-neuronal epithelial cells, the contact between these cells and the sensory cells have morphological characteristics of a chemical synapse. Each taste nerve fibers innervates taste cell in several taste buds. Each taste nerve fibers innervates these taste cells in several taste buds. That means each taste bud will be innervated by approximately so many nerve fibers. So may 50 around 50 nerve fibers. So this is about the receptor cell. Next we have the basal cells. These are the small round cells which are present at the bottom of a taste bud. They are thought to be stem cells. I already mentioned that it replaces the gustatory receptor cells. Next, supporting cell. In addition to the taste cells and basal cells, these taste buds contain the supporting cell. Innervation. The special sensory nerve fibers innervating the taste cells comes from the branches of the facial nerve and then glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerve. Each taste bud, I already mentioned, is innervated by around 50 nerve fibers, and each nerve fiber in turn receive inputs from 5 taste buds. Okay, this is about the structure of the a taste bud. Next we'll see the different type of papillae. So we have 4 types of papilla. Okay, these are the circumvallate papilla, fungiform papilla, folate papilla and filiform papilla. Circumvallate papilla, so here you can see these are present mainly in the sulcus terminalis. Sulcus terminalis is a V-shaped groove which separates the anterior 2/3 of the dorsum of the tongue from the posterior 1/3. So these circumvallate papilla, which are large papillae, about 10 to 12 in numbers, forming a single row in front of the sulcus terminalis. So these are called circumvallate papilla. And then the fungiform papillae, these are bright red flat dot like structures located in the anterior 2/3 of the tongue along the edge, dorsum and the tip. Next, folate papillae, these are transverse mucosal folds found on the posterolateral surfaces of the tongue anterior to the circumvallate papillae. You can see in the diagram. And then the last one is filiform papillae. So these are the small conical projections that covering the entire remaining surface of the dorsum of the anterior two-thirds of the tongue, giving it a velvety appearance. So this is the filiform papillae. So these are arranged in rows parallel to the sulcus terminalis. So these are about the different types of papilla. In this papilla we have the taste bud, and we already learned. So here in this diagram also we can see how a typical taste bud looks. We have a pore, and we have the different cells which are present in the taste bud, receptor cell, and how it is innervated. So all these things you should know. So we'll go to the next slide. So this is the continuation of the papilla, different types of papilla: circumvallate, fungiform, filiform papilla. So filiform papilla, these are present in the covering the remaining surface of the dorsum of the anterior two-thirds of the tongue. They are arranged in rows parallel to the sulcus terminalis. Okay, so this is about the different types of papilla. So next we'll go to the slide. Type 3 cells, gustatory receptor cells that make synaptic connections to the sensory nerve fiber. So this receptor cell is the one which connects to the sensory nerve fiber. So the necks of the cells connected to each other by the tight junctions. I already mentioned that each bud is innervated by the around 50 nerve fibers. So this is the picture of the basal cell. So next we'll go to the taste pathway. That means how this sensation of taste is transmitted to the central nervous system. So here we'll see in this diagram the first we see that the taste pathway consists of 3 order of neurons. That means first order of neurons. So this neurons carries the sensations from a specific part to the spinal cord or brain stem. Then the second order neuron starts. From here these carry sensations to the thalamus, and then from the thalamus the third order neuron starts, that sends the information to the cerebral cortex. So this is the order of neurons. The first order, this is also having 3 order of neurons. The first order of neurons, so it starts innervating the taste cells. So this starts from the taste buds which are located on the anterior two-thirds of the tongue. So the taste buds which are present on the anterior two-thirds of the tongue, here the sensations are carried by the facial nerve. Okay, that is the branch of the facial nerve, that is the cauda tympani nerve. See, in the taste sensation, the different nerves carries sensation from the different parts of the oral cavity. So anterior two-thirds of the tongue, so the sensations carried from the anterior two-thirds of the tongue by the facial nerve, whereas from the posterior one-third of the tongue is by the glossopharyngeal nerve. These are all the cranial nerves. So facial nerve is the 7th cranial nerve and glossopharyngeal is the 9th cranial nerve. And from the taste bud which are present on the pharynx, epiglottis, hard palate, soft palate, all those are carried from the vagus nerve. So the taste buds which are present in these areas will be innervated by these different nerves. Then what will happen? These taste fibers, okay, you can see here. So this first, what will happen? The first order neurons, they travel in different cranials, join the solitary nucleus, tractus nucleus, to terminate in the nucleus of tractus solitarius. So these will terminate in the nucleus tractus solitarius in the medulla oblongata. So from here what will happen? The second order neurons starts. So the cell bodies of the second order neurons are located in the nucleus of tractus solitarius in the medulla. Axons of these second order neurons, they crosses the midline. You can see in the diagram that the sensations of one part, so here it crossing the midline and then to join the medial lemniscus and terminate with the 5th cranial nerves in the ventral posterior medial nucleus of the thalamus. So you can see in the diagram the first order neurons which carries the sensation from the different parts of the tongue ends in the medulla oblongata, nucleus tractus solitarius. Then from here the second order neurons starts, which crosses the midline and ends in the thalamus. In the thalamus, the nucleus is the ventral posterior medial nucleus. Okay, so and then from here the third order neurons starts, that is from the ventral posterior medial nucleus of the thalamus. Axons starts from here and terminate in the inferior part of the post central gyrus. So that is the sense, that is called as the taste cortex. So you can see here that is the gustatory cortex. So this is the taste pathway. So you should learn that the sensory nerve fibers from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue is carried by the facial nerve, that is a branch of cauda tympani. Then the posterior 1/3 is glossopharyngeal, and then fibers from the pharynx epiglottis is by the vagus nerves. So this is about the taste pathway. So this you may get question on the taste pathway. So this I already mentioned that so this is already mentioned, and this again the diagram is showing the taste pathway. So in this taste pathway you should know that the fibers are crossing the midline and then terminating on the other side of the cerebral cortex. That means the sensations of the right side, okay, is sensation is relayed on the left side. Okay, so the sensations on the right side of the tongue will be relayed on the is carried to the left side of the cerebral cortex. So now we'll see what are all the different types of taste, what are all the factors affecting the taste, and what are all the abnormalities. So in humans we have 5 type of tastes: sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and then umami. So these are all the different type of tastes. So earlier concept only 4 sensation, but now it is one more is umami. So this is recently added, so it is produced by the glutamate. Okay, that is, if the food is having a glutamate, so is this produces a sensation of umami. It's like somewhat like sweet, but little bit differs from the standard sweet taste. So these are the different types of sensation. Okay, so now we'll see how, what is the few important things in regarding the transduction of the gustatory stimuli. How, what is the mechanism of